So, Carlie, you finished the Lyme Laser protocol in December of 2019.
Yes.
Okay, it is now, what is it, May of 2020, right? So tell us a little bit about when you found out you had Lyme and what brought you to Lyme Laser.
Okay, so I found out I had Lyme in 2014. I had been showing chronic symptoms for about 9 years at that point. My main symptoms were joint pain, brain fog, and cardiovascular issues. On my worst days, I couldn't walk. I've been having symptoms since I was 5 years old, so we're not completely sure when I got it, but we know I was chronic by the time I was 5. I went misdiagnosed for about 10 years. I was told that I had junior rheumatoid arthritis, which was incorrect, and I never showed signs of that other than my inability to walk and extreme joint pain. As I got older, the symptoms got worse. I went from waking up when I was 5 and not being able to walk a couple times a year to having symptoms almost every day. It got really bad towards the end of my junior year of high school, and I think it was during finals that it really kind of hit me, and I was kind of hunched over in a ton of pain. It had moved up my spine at that point, and it basically felt like my bones were on fire. I first started experiencing symptoms when I was 5 years old. I went into a lot of the Boston hospitals trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I was diagnosed with junior rheumatoid arthritis, which was a misdiagnosis. That was not what the issue was, it was Lyme. And my symptoms at that point were that I would wake up and I couldn't walk. My legs would just collapse underneath me, and I'd have to crawl down the hallway and tell my mom that my legs had stopped working. And the symptoms would kind of come and go, generally with the weather. But in 2014, I felt like I had sprained or fractured or done something to my wrist, but I couldn't remember having done absolutely anything to it. I was like, this is really weird. Like, why does my wrist hurt when I've done absolutely nothing to it? And then the pain moved from my wrist to my elbow, so now my wrist and my elbow were hurting. I was like, this is really, really weird. What's causing this? And then it moved to my shoulder and then to my neck. So at that point, my mom took me to my doctor, and she'd done some reading on Lyme, and she kind of forced them to test me properly. And I think I had the Western blot test done, and I lit up like a Christmas tree. My doctor was like, whoa, I've never seen something pop this positive. This is kind of crazy. And so I was put on doxycycline at that point for, I think, maybe 2 months. And I felt a lot better. My symptoms went away for the most part, at least my joint pain symptoms. And I felt better. And I was like, okay, great, we're done with that. All set. That was a weird thing, but that's over. And then I think I was good for the most part until my junior year of high school. It was during finals, and I was super stressed out. I was taking way too many classes and was going insane. But from all the stress of finals, my joint pain came back, and it's like, okay, that's weird. I thought, antibiotics took care of the problem, right? I'm done. And so I was taken back to the doctor. It had moved to my back at that point, and I was just kind of hunched over in pain. And my doctor was like, okay, let's put you on Doxy again. I ended up going to a Lyme specialist. He put me on, I think, ceftriaxone and tinidazole, maybe. Just a little cocktail of antibiotics. Take it away, right? So I was on that for a couple months, and then I think I came off of it, was feeling better, and then I had a rather stressful experience in late January, early February of senior year, and all the symptoms came back. So I was in extreme joint pain. My whole body felt like it was on fire from my joints. I could barely walk. I was extremely fatigued all of the time, and I had a lot of cardiovascular issues as well, so if I couldn't run from my joint pain, I certainly couldn't run because of my heart. And so I was put back on the antibiotics again, and I was in a lot of pain, but I started to feel a little bit better, to the point where when my class had our Italy trip at the end of the year, so that was in June, I was able to go on that, and I was doing fine for the first week or so. We were walking probably 7 to 10 miles a day. Eventually that just caught up with my body. My body could not handle that, and I just collapsed. And so I had to be put in a stroller. It's a real embarrassing experience. And wheeled around the streets of Rome. So that was a great time. But at that point, I was on a mix of antibiotics and Chinese herbals. We were trying everything at that point. And I think between the two, I was on about 70, 80 pills a day. It was not a fun time.
It was a lot. So did that get you more progress, or?
I was feeling a bit better, but I still had the joint pain. Like, it was there every day. It wasn't like I felt better. So I just kind of stayed on that mix of the antibiotics and the Chinese herbals for the next year or so. I was in college, new experiences, but we were still just kind of trying to find something that would work. I still had a lot of joint pain. I was tired all the time. I had to take at least 1, sometimes 2 naps a day. I was getting 8 hours of sleep every single night. I really did take care of myself. And then my mom was helping me look around for some place that could help me. We'd been to pretty much every Lyme doctor in the Boston area, as well as seen some rheumatologists at Children's Hospital, who continued to tell me that I did not have Lyme disease. They tried to diagnose me with lupus, which I do not have. But I eventually found Lyme Laser. So now here I am.
So what was the hardest part? I mean, we obviously know that you went through the whole program.
Yes.
We'll talk about how successful it was for you in a minute, but what was the hardest part about the program, and what was it like going through the 9 months?
The first month, I think, was the hardest. So the diet was the hardest part for me. I like sugar, I have a sweet tooth, and I like my carbs as well. So having to give that up was really difficult. I'm glad I did, though. And also having to come up here twice a week. I was about an hour and a half away at school, and so by the time I'd get up here, do the treatment, and then get back to school, it'd be about 6 hours at a time. And so twice a week, that was 12 hours, and I was a full-time college student, and I don't have an easy major, so that was a little intense, but I got it done, and I'm glad I did.
And when did you start to see results?
I think about 6 months in. I think a lot of people really see results after phase 1, which is the first 3 months. It took me a bit longer. My joints started to feel better, I think, after the first 3 months. It wasn't quite as painful, but the fatigue really didn't go away for probably 6-7 months. But when it did go away, it really went away. Like, I feel so much better now.
So you ended in December
Yes.
of last year. So it's been now several months after that. How do you feel today, and where are you compared to when you started this whole journey?
Yeah, so I have never really been healthy in my memory that I can remember, because we're pretty sure I had it by the time I was 5, so I don't really remember too far past that. But I have never been able to run. I remember being screamed at by my gym teacher in 6th grade because I couldn't run around the track. I was trying. It wasn't that I was lazy, but like there was a pressure on my chest. I couldn't get the air in my lungs, and like something wasn't working. and I can run now, so that's exciting. I had my best time ever for a mile like a couple months ago, so that was exciting.
Nice.
I beat my time back in 7th grade, which isn't that hard now that I'm healthy. But it's been really exciting. I've been able to get back to what I love doing. I don't have the joint pain that I used to have. My legs have been working great, which is fantastic. That was one of the biggest things, is the ankle, knee, and hip pain. I have a lot more energy as well, which is fantastic. I'm still a full-time college student, so it's a lot, but I'm able to keep up with my classmates and do all the activities I'm supposed to be doing at college, which is fantastic. I'm really just feeling a lot better.
Good. And if you had to give someone who was about to start the program or just started the program any advice, what would it be?
I think trust the process, stick with it. It's miserable at times, especially with the diet, so you just like want to have some chocolate or something because you're in pain or you're just sad about the fact that you're doing all this medical stuff. But stick with it. It's 100% worth it. I did not think I was going to get better. I'd been sick for so long. I thought there was no way that this was going to work. But it does. It works.
Cool. Thank you.